Hey guys, today's shave is with a couple of funky things. Well, maybe three. The curved slant I used a few days ago. It's a Maggard Slant, and it did such an efficient, smooth job that I was just amazed. And the question came up in my own mind, as well as some of you viewers, how would that razor handle the Nacet? The one that we've put so many uses on, and so we have brought out that blade again. And this will be the 367th shave of that guy. And I'm bringing back the Saponificio Varesino brush that I used in the last shave, and I just, wow, was so impressed with that brush. The knot attributes are pretty much exactly what I like, and I'm enjoying that. And then we've got Palmolive. I had a viewer ask me on I did a test lather of the Palmolive bar of soap available at the Dollar Tree. I think it's a 2-pack, and the test lather looked really good. So we're going to use this like a soap stick and see what kind of lather we actually get in real life, which I'm confident is going to be good, just like that test lather I did. So I just finished taking a shower, so my face is all washed. So we're putting the Nacet, let me show you the little dots that are there, and there's the bend in the blade that I put a while back. So we're gonna put that. And then this is, I was asked about this handle. This is a West Coast shaving handle, and it's stainless steel. And because it's a brushed stainless steel handle, it actually has pretty good grip. But you know what I found? I like it in terms of looking at the handle by itself, but I don't have very many heads that look right with it. And so I don't really use it very much. All right, so this is a razor head, kind of like the DE89 type, you know, the Maggard V3 type that you do have to check the blade alignment on, because it can be wrong. And there we go. So there's where the little curve of the blade is from the drop, and we'll just see how that goes. So here's my 366 dots. 300 are on the wrapper that I showed you earlier, and then anything above that is right here. So we're going to try a Palmolive face, basically a face lather, and see how everything goes. So let me get my face freshly wet. And with I don't use sticks very much. I'm going to get the end of the puck here wet. And now I have found that I have a much more enjoyable experience if I rub this across the grain instead of against the grain. All right, so I found that going sideways across the grain is a lot more enjoyable than going against the grain. Obviously, if I just moved one direction and went with the grain, that would not be a problem. And if it feels, anytime you have a soap stick or something like this, if it starts to feel a little hard to move around, then just wet the tip of your stick again, or wet your face. Now what I like to do, I'm going a little overkill on this today, just to make sure. But I like to try to think of it as mowing the grass. And I try to think of using this as my mower and covering every area 2 times, maybe 3 times. If you just keep going, you're going to build up a lot of soap on there. It's going to be drying. It's going to be more dry than it really needs to be. And it's going to take you longer to add the water to get to a good lather. So it can kind of hurt you a little bit if you overdo it too much. One time I did it with thinking about just covering everything once, and it was not enough soap. Okay, so then I'm just going to get this brush nice and wet. I'm going to shake off the excess because I know that in a second it's going to just start dripping down my shirt. and I may not avoid that. In a sense, this is, oh yeah, see, look at that. In a sense, this is not a fair test of the soap, but in another sense it is, because if you're in a pinch, this might be, and I mean, it does come in bar form, so most likely this is how you guys might be using it. Now already, as soon as you saw it froth up like that, then that's when it started to actually feel, you know, like a good shaving soap. It started to feel slick. And the cool thing about that bar is you can always take it, put it on your face a little bit more if you have not loaded enough. Depending on how much water you leave in your brush, how much stays in your brush. And as you can see, we are generating some lather like that, so we can kind of reposition that stuff. Feels good. Hard to tell how slick it feels because of the stubble. 24 hours of growth is what we're looking at right now. Maybe actually just a few hours less than that. Now sometimes when I'm face lathering, I know that I have reached the right consistency when my lather is flying off of my face and onto my shirt. But in this case, I'm going to go ahead and stop because I don't like it when that happens. Because that's the good stuff. That's the wet stuff that I really wish I could shave with, and one of the main reasons I don't face lather. All right, here we go. Right? Maggard Slant. You do have to focus a little bit with the initial cut near your, you know, sideburns or whatever. Now this is a very different feel. It does feel pretty slick. The razor's sliding nicely, but I am feeling some tugging. It definitely does not look like it's a miracle match made in heaven kind of scenario. This slant does use a slightly different angle than most of my razors do. So I do have to be cognizant of that as I'm working. But the good news is that if I shave at my normal angle, it just doesn't cut the hairs very well. It doesn't generate any irritation. It just doesn't cut as effectively. And so then I adjust the angle and everything's cool. Now, one thing, it doesn't look like it keeps the blade all that straight, but it seems to be, I mean, it's pretty close. Well, that was the toughest pass. I bet the rest are going to be pretty nice. Let me rinse. Definitely can leave my face wet after that to help to work with this lather here. You can see it's quite airy. It's light. It's not a dense lather. And so you could experiment with using more soap on your face. But it is slick. It's comfortable. Seems to be protecting reasonably well. How about that? 50 cents a bar. And I guarantee you, you could, I mean, it's got to be 2 or 3 months of shaves. It's got a decent smell. Kind of generic. Kind of unscented, really. Maybe a soapy scent. It definitely doesn't have that citronella type scent that Williams does. Okay, now we'll see what second pass feels like. I believe I told you, but as I was rinsing, I definitely felt plenty of stubble. And so it's not, but that is typical for the Nacet, of course. But it's definitely not what my first use of this razor gave me. So it doesn't seem to be a miracle match, but it's decent. Now, of course, we have to wait for the end of the shave to make sure that it's a decent quality cut, a decent close cut. So, you know, we can take some of this goatee lather. Oh, I'm not feeling very much cutting at all, even as I vary my angle. So I bet we might end up with a nice close cut. I believe I was even able to go against the grain when I had a younger blade in this razor. So at the end, when I've got everything cut down pretty low, I may try that. All right, and I won't even bother doing too much of a rinse, just that. And let's see. Yeah, I do feel like I should go for a third. Of course, this could be a really good travel option for folks, because if you, for those who want to really travel light, the one soap bar could be your body soap as well as your shaving soap. From the Dollar Tree, I've discovered that Pear's glycerin soap does a really nice lather. So does the Yardley. Like shea buttermilk type soap, and so does the Sugar Soap Works. They have one that does a very nice lather as well. The Pear's is a kind of a medicinal flavor, medicinal type scent, so it's not all that desirable except from its nice lather. And then since this is the third pass, let's try. Not bad, not bad. Now my buddy HD Shaves used this razor for like a week, and he reported in that he was experiencing some roughness, tenderness. So it may just be something that's a little too aggressive for him. Now, you know, he was very kind and said that my technique was probably better than his, and so that may be a lot of it. But, you know, you never know, because, see, razors are different. Blades and razors and his skin and all that sort of stuff. There's so many variables that it really might not be technique. And yeah, see this, I cannot. That's really pretty good. Now we'll just see at the end of the shave, am I actually cutting closely? I believe I'm cutting as good as this blade can do in this razor. Let's put it that way. And we'll just see if it's a decent result. If not, then that would be the only weakness really that I can see with using the Nacet in this razor. And a good rinse. It's a passable shave. It has a, I didn't really see too many tips that had some length to them. However, just a little bit of an edge, and so it kind of gives a shadow effect in my trouble spot. And I can, in certain areas, there are patches where it just didn't do a great job. Now I could hit those areas again, but I'm not going to. Got some Sharp Dressed Man here from Stirling, and need those balm properties, because this, I did feel just a little tenderness, and so I feel like taking care of my skin. I would probably be fine with an alcohol splash as well, but this is almost like preventive maintenance at this point. I'm not ending up with very much in terms of redness or irritation or anything like that. I had the, as you might expect from a bar soap, I had a very good feel on the face as I was rinsing. It even took a few rinses at the end to finally get the lather, the soap off. It had a nice layer on my skin. And so I believe that your residual slickness with this is going to be a good thing with this hand soap. So in a pinch, I definitely would not have a problem using this. It's definitely not as rich as, at least in the concentration I use today. It's not as rich and creamy as you might get with a real shave soap. But I mean, it's not a real shave soap. It's kind of a make do, or if you're a poor college student, then this can be a great shave soap for you. I might investigate the others at the Dollar Tree and find one that has a more pleasant scent. I mean, this is a kind of a neutral scent or a slightly soapy scent. The Williams, of course, is a good value, but it has that citronella, very classic soapy type scent that's strong in the first couple of uses, but then definitely backs off to something quite mild. But there we go. So this is very workable. I'm experiencing a little bit of kind of tingling, almost like a drying effect. That could be something resulting in the soap. Not really sure, since I did use kind of an aggressive razor with this shave. So it doesn't seem like the Nacet's a good fit for this one because of the result that I got. All right, well, the Sharp Dressed Man smells nice, and I think we're ready to close it on down. Thanks for watching, and I hope that this one has some good info for you. This is Sugar Daddy Shaves. Take care.